Welcome to Let's Talk Brock.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Let's Talk Brock podcast. My name is Olajumoke, and with me here is Jayne Morrish, the Knowledge Mobilization Officer in Office of Research Services. Jayne Morrish
Hi.
is a master's degree graduate in psychology from Brock and will be sharing a transformative journey from student leadership to our role as a knowledge mobilization officer. As a student leader, she won the Canadian Psychological Association Certificate of Academic Excellence in 2012. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And also, she won scholarships and awards while studying at Brock, such as the Dean of Graduate Studies Excellence Scholarship. Also, as a staff, she won the President Distinguished Staff Service Award for outstanding contributions in 2017 and won the Business Link Niagara 40 Under 40 Award in 2017. We are so excited to have you here today, Jayne. Thank you for joining us. If it's okay, I don't know, how do you feel?
I feel awesome. I'm so excited. Brock is one of my favorite things to talk about, so this is perfect for me.
Okay, great. So if it's okay, I will go ahead to ask the first question for the day. Are you good?
I'm good. Let's go.
Okay, so thinking back to when you first made your post-secondary decision, what made Brock the right fit for you? Like, why did you decide to choose Brock?
Why did I pick Brock? Um, so I think the first one, so I went to Brock for graduate school, and my first reason that I picked Brock was like academic excellence. I was in our psychology stream, as you mentioned, specifically in what was called called the lifespan development stream. And when I was picking graduate schools, I knew that we had world-renowned researchers. I also knew that we had productive researchers, which is a really specific thing. I wanted researchers that were publishing, that were doing this work. Um, Also size. I'll be really open. I went to a very large school in the GTA for my undergrad, and I tell this story to many people. I literally felt like a number.
Oh,
And when I visited Brock the first time, I was like, hold on, like this is a big school. Like it has an amenities, it has experiences, but it's also going to really allow me to develop like tangible relationships with faculty and staff and other students. And then the third one, which I think will be relevant to a lot of Brock students, it was location and proximity to GTA. I grew up in the GTA. My family
mhm.
was still living in the GTA at that point, and I could take a go bus home when I wanted to, right? So it was like everything I wanted in one spot.
Wow, that is perfect. I also I agree with you as regards the bus system. It's really helpful knowing that we also have a bus pass to like go anywhere in the Niagara region or Welland makes life really easy as a student. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's really great. So I'll be going to the next question. So how did you come to be involved with research? Do you
Okay.
have any memorable experiences writing that ignited your interest in research and would you like to share with us?
Yeah, sure. On like a big level, I have always really loved understanding things. And on top of that, I really like understanding people. Like I am the person that's like in a checkout line and I'll be like, oh, like tell me about this and tell me about you. Because I honestly like want to know about people and I like understanding people and knowing what's going on, which is why I picked psychology, right? And I think a lot of people pick psychology like, oh, this is interesting. But my aha moment, I remember it. It was second year research methods, where I was like, hold on, like research impacts the world around us, and there are people that do this research. This is somewhere you can focus your like career on. And then I was like, oh, like as an undergrad I can actually get this experience. I can volunteer in labs. And that's where I just like fell in love with this process of like asking questions, finding out answers, and then like getting it into the hands of people that can use it, so you're like actually making a difference.
Wow, that's really great. So from your second year, you like developed interest in research and you followed through.
I did. Here I am.
Lovely, yeah, lovely. So how would you describe your own development while at Brock? What are some of your biggest takeaways while competing and going through your program?
I think for me it was, I like when I describe Brock, I use the word tangible a lot because it was like those actual hands-on experiences to like conduct research, apply it to the real world. That was like a really big development for me. I was given that space to try it and be someone that could lead it. even in like grad school, like you're not that old in grad school. I was 22, right? Like, and I was still able to
Wow.
like lead those things. I also learned at Brock like that knowledge mobilization was a thing. That term had never come to me before. And then I was like, oh wow, like I can do this as a career. Like, and like my advisor at the time, who's a psychology faculty member, was like, yeah, we can focus on, if that's what you like, we can focus on that and we can develop that for you. You can go out and do community presentations with me. You can go run a program with youth. I developed like a summer program with youth and I got to like run it and like leave with those things on my resume, which then really allowed me to like advance my career, get this training, and then literally get the job I have today.
Wow. So your supervisor was like played a very key role in you getting to this point.
Definitely.
Wow. Wow, that's so great. So you were awarded the Brooks Dean of Graduate Studies Excellence Scholarship in 2011. Congratulations. Can you tell us more about the award and what contributed to this win?
Definitely. I remember this moment. I remember sitting in my apartment near the Penn Center when I got like the email for this. This was like a big moment in my life. So this award through Brock is given to any like graduate students who also get an external scholarship from like a major funder. In my case, I received a large scholarship from what's called SSHRC, the Social Sciences Humanities Research Council, in my second year, which meant that I like automatically got this additional scholarship from Brock. You need to apply for that external funding, and I think it's like 3,000 graduate students from across Canada get it every year. And then at Brock, they're like, oh, wow, you got that. Here's an additional kind of piece of funding to support you. And like in general, what the awards are is they're meant to provide financial like support for high caliber student scholars who are engaged in an eligible program, basically allowing you to really focus on your studies. It's kind of like you don't need to get a job. You can do this, plus you can TA and do RA because like we really value your research. We want to give you funding so that you can do this research. And it's amazing that Brock added like an additional top up, right? So you got the piece from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
government, and then Brock was like, we also want to award you for this excellence to give you this additional piece, which was another really unique thing about Brock having that access to funding.
Oh, that's really good. I can just imagine like winning something and then they're like, okay, good job, take more. That must have been
Yeah.
really good. That's really good. So at Brock, you currently work full-time as the Knowledge Mobilization Officer in the Office of Research Services. Can you please tell us about this role and what you love most about it?
Well, first, Ola, I have a very fun announcement. You're the first person I'm launching this with. I have a new job title as of
Okay.
today. I am now the research impact manager at Brock, overseeing our research impact unit. So I got a promotion yesterday. Yay.
Oh,
Yeah,
this is
this
so
is my
great.
official telling everyone. I was saving it for today.
Oh
Um,
my God, I'm so happy for you.
yeah, thanks.
Congratulations.
Thanks. All of this still focuses on knowledge mobilization and base level research, right? The result of research is new knowledge, right? When all of the faculty members that students engage with at Brock, when they are doing their research, they're asking questions, they're finding answers. Those answers, that's new knowledge, right? And that new knowledge needs to be mobilized into the hands of people that can use it. I always say to people, like, new knowledge doesn't just poof into the hands of someone that could use it. And
Yeah.
the way that you do that is knowledge mobilization, which focuses on the movement of knowledge into the people that can use it so that they can make informed decisions, make informed practices, and like so that research can have impact. Some examples I give is the idea of like when researchers publish in a journal, when they make a journal article, which all of us have read, we know Google
Yeah.
Scholar. That's knowledge mobilization, right? That's that researcher, that group saying, hey, this is new knowledge we have, pushing it out generally to the scholarly community. Hey, new knowledge. When researchers present about their work at conferences or community presentations, that's knowledge mobilization. They're sharing their knowledge. When they work with partner organizations or industry partners or groups to inform things like a new program or a new education, a new service, a new policy, that's knowledge mobilization. That's saying, okay, you're doing this program on this topic that my research informs. Here's the knowledge I have. Um, and that like needs help to happen, right? It doesn't just automatically happen. So in my role, I manage this unit of resources and expertise that are in place to help researchers with this concept and with this process and provide guidance with a whole eye towards research having impact, right? Like we want the knowledge we're producing to go somewhere. I generally do three things. Like I call them my three pillars of like the things that I do, which is I provide training and capacity building. So like, let's teach people what knowledge mobilization is. I provide resources and guidance. Like here's a material to help you think through how to talk about your research in a plain language way, a way that's more accessible. And then the third one is like supporting partnerships and outreach, so that connecting piece and tracking, right? So like, what is the actual impact of our work? That's what I do. What do I love most about it? As you can tell, I kind of love my job because I get to work with amazing and inspiring researchers every day. I get to be involved with learning about new things every day. Like I know tons of different things about all the research that we're doing. I have all this fun knowledge. I also get to be part of this amazing team in the research enterprise that like everyone just wants to help, right? We're all here because we love research and we want to help. So everyone's really supportive. And then I also say, like in my unit, the really nice thing is I get to try a lot of things out. Like I get to be the yes team. Like, oh, let's try it. Let's do it. Like let's try to have impact that way. Let's do that. That sounds fun. Which is really exciting. And it keeps me energized and motivated. And it's a really wonderful place for anyone that likes research, likes connecting, to have a place to kind of find a role in the world.
Wow, this is really amazing. I mean, I could remember the first time I was going to read a journal and I'm like, okay, what does this mean? So knowing that there is a team that tries to, break down these things into smaller bits for people that are just coming into research or people that do not know anything about research is like really mind blowing. I love that. So I'm going to be asking you also another question. So what are some examples of research done by faculty members at Brock that might interest other students and encourage them to go into research?
Oh my gosh, like do you have 5 hours for me to list all of my favorite things? Because they're on it, and I know this sounds late, but there's too many to name. Like let's see if like ones that like come to mind, just like from what I've been talking about this morning. Like we have big strengths in like health and well-being. Dr. Karen Patty in health sciences was just like the other day named a Canada Research Chair in Child Health Equity and Inclusion. And Karen is a co-PI for what's called the COMPASS study, which is a national study on youth well-being, and does all this amazing knowledge mobilization to actually like support health and well-being. There's Danielle Siriani-Molnar, another CRC. She studies perfectionism. She has this amazing they're doing a podcast now, but they also have a newsletter. It's called The Young and the Perfectionist, like a riff on the young and the restless, and like talks about like what is it like to be a young person who's a perfectionist. I struggle with that. I have a lot of like those tendencies, and that can cause a lot of anxiety. And Danielle's whole lab focuses on like what does it feel like to be a perfectionist? How can you work towards more like adaptive ways of living? Mike Holmes, who is in kinesiology, he has the neuromuscular and ergonomics lab. He combines neuroscience and biomechanics to figure out how to like better help people to like not develop work-related injuries. He specializes in upper arm. A bunch of his students from his lab have gone into Major League Baseball now, which is really cool. Andrew MacDonald in history, he studies Vikings from medieval Scotland and the Isle of Man. He's got an amazing TED Ed video. Pause this right now, search TED Ed, Andrew MacDonald. Francine McCarthy, that's Anthropocene in Crawford Lake, also just did a TED Talk. Wonderful work on that. We have a whole digital humanities program at Brock, like video games and things like that. Okay, I will stop going, but like two things I will say to students. Take a look at brocku.ca/research-at-brock. And on the main page, there's on the header main, it'll drop down for a bunch of areas of focus. Like on Friday, we just announced the Brock farm. We're getting a farm. Brock is getting a farm, the Brock farm.
Whoa, good.
And that's good. We're going to have our own vineyard. And we specialize in clean agriculture and sustainability. Like they're all listed there. So brocku.ca/research-at-brock. Also, another easy thing is whatever area you're interested in, look through the faculty pages on that department's website. Like every faculty member will have a page and it'll say their research interests and figure out who you're interested in. What like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. And email that professor, right? The worst that'll happen is you maybe don't get a reply. You will though, it's Brock. And
Yeah.
see if you can like meet with them and volunteer in their lab.
Wow. Thank you so much. I know that I know we have the Match of Minds program. Is it related to like the Office of Research?
It is, yeah. So that's one of the internal programs that Office of Research Services helps to coordinate. And that's where a faculty member and a student match up for a project. And the money goes towards actually funding that student to do a research project, which is a really amazing opportunity for students and faculty to come together and actually the student to get funding to do research.
Wow. That's really great. Thank you. I mean, I didn't know about all those professors beforehand, and I just learned like a lot about them. I mean, the Vikings sounds so much fun.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, it is cool. It is cool. So looking at it, what are some of the goals and aspirations you have for the Research Impact Hub? How do you envision to impact the hub evolve like over the years?
Sure. So for anyone that doesn't know, the Research Impact Hub is a new space on the main floor of the Rankin Family Pavilion. It's right by that welcome desk. Some of you have probably seen it. It's the room with the mannequin. That's how people have been referring to it, which is meant to
Yeah.
be a space where it's a meeting room, but it's also, I've created an interactive display of artifacts related to Brock research, which is why the mannequin, whose name is Dolph, is in there. If you ever want to hear more about him, let me know if you see me on campus. Um, my goals for this space, I'll go like what I want to do in the next like couple months to like my goal down the line. So first, I'm just excited that it exists. What I'm going to, what's literally yesterday, I added 2 new items, and that's what I want to do. I want to continue to evolve and showcase more artifacts related to Brock research. I want it to be like a living example, an exhibit of the impact that Brock researchers have. So we just added a piece of equipment from Brackett Fox Lab. We're adding images from the farm. Those are going to be in by the end of the week. Um, More like medium term, I want to have a web presence. So I want it to have like when you look at an item, you can like scan a QR code. It'll take you a page to the item so people can learn more and engage with them. And
Sounds
then my goal,
interesting.
my big
That sounds
goal,
interesting. Okay.
I want to turn it into like interactive displays, like a mini science center. Like, can we do things where
Oh,
you can actually like touch and like engage in the research process in the room? And that's down the line, but like I will get there, right? We will get there.
yes, you
That's what
will
Brock
get
does. We
there.
always do we do these amazing things. So those are my goals.
Well, I mean, I am trying to picture it as you're speaking right now, and I'm like, wow, that sounds so beautiful. I can just imagine. I would definitely stop by this week. I mean, will the stuff be up by the end of the week?
Oh
The
yeah, yeah.
picture
One
from
of
the
the pieces of equipment's in there right now. I'm just waiting on an easel to put up the pictures of the farm. So they're
Oh,
coming.
perfect. Yes, I will definitely be there, and I'm encouraging everybody listening to also stop by.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I
what
mean,
is one piece of advice for a student who is looking to do research at Brock?
okay, this is the one I tell everyone. And like I will say this no matter what school or like you end up like this is for every student, but like I think it's specifically true at Brock because of the amazing like community we have. Get involved in a lab in an area that interests you as early as possible. I know that some students are like, "Oh, I'm only a first year." You're not only a first year, you're a first year student. Email email the professor, as I just said. Ask if you can meet. Ask about volunteering opportunities. Ask questions. That's how I got started. I started volunteering in second year. I got experience. I started to grow in labs, and then that transferred into a paid position by my fourth year, which is what got me my job right out of undergrad. And then that's how I like launched into grad school, which launched me into the career I am now. So it's all about volunteering, right? Email, like look at those faculty pages, see what research is happening, what's interesting to you, and just say, hey, are there volunteering opportunities? Even just like sitting in a lab meeting to start to learn the conversations around how this works and how research works. It builds those connections and then builds really strong like skill sets for you to add to your resume about your experiences with research.
Hmm, that's really good. But if a student is like in fourth year and they're looking to like go into research, is there like anything because they might feel like it's too late? Do you think there's anything they could do to start off?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it would be potentially like meeting with like just I know if let's say your fourth year, it's March, right? We still have time to have some meetings. You obviously couldn't join a lab. Um, I also think there is some like base level, like there's some training that you could get. You could look into the free opportunities that exist at Brock. And let's say you are taking a year between what you're doing, and maybe you have like a part-time job or a full-time job, but you have some time. You could even work in the after hours. Like a lot of research doesn't stop. Research isn't 9 to 5. A lot of the times they're running studies in the evening, right? Because that's when community
Yes.
members can come to campus to participate. So there's still opportunities to gain those skill sets after you finish your 4th year, right? The research is really flexible, which is another piece that I like about it.
Okay, great. I was also thinking about it because like if someone is in their finals and they're listening, they're like, oh my God, I'm late. But I mean, with what the response you just gave now, I think you just told them, you're not late. You're good.
You're not late. It's never
Um,
too late.
yes. So finally, if you could go back in time to redo your student experience, what would you change about it?
Oh my gosh. Um,
Okay.
like I know I started in, like I did like volunteering in labs early, but I would have got involved more with more pieces across the university. Just like all the different like clubs and pieces like that to really get that community. I think when you get involved in a bunch of different places, you gain a lot of different leadership skills. It also creates that networking opportunity, which is a really key skill set to have, right? Like you've got to like you can do it in a safe space, right? When you're at your undergrad institution, learn how to network and make mistakes and all those things. I think of Mr. Frizzle from the Magic School Bus, like make mistakes, get messy, right? Like you can do those things
Yeah.
at this point and try those things out. Um, if I sat back and like thought of myself as an undergrad at Brock and what Brock offers, what I would have done and what I would have if I had been that in that experience is getting involved in the real world experiences Brock has, like co-op. What an
Oh,
amazing skill set to have, like have that actually. I've gone out and I've actually done this type of work. I'm thinking of my colleagues from co-op career and experiential education. We commonly call it CCEE, like resume building, learning how to tell your story, right? Like leave undergrad being able to tell what is your story, what is the like one thing you want to say. I learned this skill set in my undergrad. What is your elevator pitch about who you are and what you learned and what that means for your next step? And like you can really engage in some experiences at Brock to do that. For networking, I would do the stuff with the link. Like they do so many different networking events and like developing your pitch. Go to those, right? From a like student at Brock, I would have done more of the opportunities like they do grad flicks where you can create a little like video about your thesis. I wish I had done that, right? Like I was really focused on doing the research or something called 3MT, the 3-minute thesis, where you have to summarize your thesis in 3 minutes. And there's like a full national competition. I wish I had done 3MT to get some of those more professional speaking skill sets earlier on versus getting them later on.
yeah.
Those are my big ones.
Wow. Wow, that sounds really, really, really interesting and intensive. I'm like making mental notes as to what I must do before I'm done with my undergraduate experience. Thank you so much, Jayne. It was so amazing learning from you. I would also encourage students to check out the Research Impact Hub. I can still remember the culture from the last time I visited. Every time I go and tour, I'm like, oh, the culture, it's so good. Go
The
check
core
it
chair,
out.
so that's the world's healthiest office chair, everyone, that's sitting in the space that Mike Holmes was involved in some of the research on that in his postdoc. Mike Holmes is a researcher here at Brock.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, Jayne. Now we've come to the end of today's podcast. Follow us for more updates. Have a good day.
Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions, you can contact us at brocku.ca/discover/contact.